Hey guys, welcome back to my channel. Happy Tuesday. I usually don't even hop on here on Tuesday, but because of the holiday week, I figured I'm probably going to hop on here today and tomorrow and then probably Friday because I want everybody to enjoy their holiday. Are you guys excited about it? I'm excited to make a plate, and I don't know why I'm being so last minute, y'all, knowing I need to go to the grocery store because I plan on making like a strawberry banana pudding, maybe a pasta salad. I'm trying to decide on if I'm going to bring a pasta salad or not, and I kind of want to make a punch. So I'm not hosting. We're gonna go to my in-laws' house, but knowing I need to go to the store, I need to quit playing, y'all. But anyways, I hope you guys are looking forward to the holiday weekend. While you're here, go ahead and show your girl some love by liking the video. Go ahead and do it now. Do it now. Hype your girl up. Hit the hype button. And hit subscribe if you are feeling the vibe, period. Okay. Now, if you're looking for remote work or you know someone looking for remote work, I post remote work weekly on my personal channel, plus vlogs, story time, how you can set up your work from home equipment if you have small kids. All of that's on my personal channel. I will post that in the comments below. Now, today's video is going to be a little different compared to how my videos are before. So I want to warn you ahead of time just in case today's video is not your cup of tea, okay? As always, we're going to be talking about like witchcraft, we've been doing spooky stories, all of that is still in that same niche, but this is going to be more of an educational video because I feel like this is a conversation that is very much needed, especially with everything I'm seeing in regards to witchcraft, religion, and spirituality, just all this kind of stuff. We need to talk about this because I feel like a lot of people are getting themselves in unnecessary spiritual damage, I want to say, when it comes to their self, unnecessary spiritual drama, and it's not necessary. So what you're going to hear today is you're going to hear individuals talk about their experiences slash story time, maybe even slash testimony of dealing with witchcraft. Now, keep in mind, I am not a religious person. I'm a spiritual person. Some of these are going to be coming from a religious standpoint, and we're going to have the conversation. So stay tuned. Okay. Stay tuned because we definitely got to have this conversation. So again, this is not the usual of what you see on my channel of going in depth of story times of witchcraft going wrong, spells going wrong, than that. This is more of an educational video. So again, if this is not your cup of tea, feel free to click off and come back tomorrow. But this is a conversation for those who need to have it in regards to witchcraft, religion, practicing things that you probably shouldn't be practicing in the first place. And we're going to have a well-needed conversation at the end. So without further ado, go ahead and watch, and I will see you at the end.
I remember when I started practicing witchcraft, I was very curious about it. I saw it as a means to have power in a powerless world. And I was curious about some things, and I remember getting books about spells and going into the New Age store, purchasing bundles of sage and crystals and all of the things that I would do to cast spells, love spells, and how to bind people to me, all of these things. I got into it in a very innocent type of way, thinking that it was just nature and it was just, trees and plants and energies. But I'm telling you, it took a turn for the worst. I got into it innocently, but I left literally almost terrified. I had such a fear that gripped my life. It crippled me. The next thing that I knew, I was seeing things, hearing things. I was being tortured by demonic spirits that had come in through the use of witchcraft. I would hear scratching on the walls. I would hear tapping. I would see images and shadows and spirits in the house that I was living in. I remember glass busting over my head and literal pieces of glass falling all over me as I was walking through my house. It was a very scary time. I was tortured. I didn't even want to close my eyes to wash my face. That's how terrified I was. I didn't want to get out of the bed to even go use the restroom at night. And I remember just saying, I'm done with it all. If you think that it's innocent, I'm telling you, it will take you down a road you do not want to go down. And I had to ask the Lord Jesus Christ to forgive me if you're watching this, I don't believe it's by mistake. I believe that the Lord has allowed you to see this video to speak to your heart, to give you a chance to really cry out to Him. You know, it's hard to see it from the side of practicing witchcraft, but hear me when I tell you, I've come out of it and I'm living for God now. He's turned my whole life around. I have freedom. I have joy. I've been restored in ways I could never imagine. And so if you're on here and you are practicing witchcraft, or you've dabbled in it, or you're thinking, oh, I just have a few healing crystals, or I'm just reading my horoscope, or I'm just, burning sage, you are practicing witchcraft in that. And I'm asking you today, give your heart to Jesus. Let me know. Hit me up in a private message. I will talk with you. I will pray with you. But it's time to give your life to Christ. He's the only way.
Hi, my name's Abbey. I was a witch before I became a Muslim, and the reason why I don't speak about what I did as a witch is because I actually full-heartedly practiced witchcraft. Not light magic, not something that was on the safer side of witchcraft. I'm talking unadulterated, unfiltered stuff that people don't need to know about. When people say witchcraft isn't real, or you probably weren't even a real witch, I would love to say that I wasn't a real witch. I would love to say that I was one of the thousands of people influenced by witch talk back in the early 2020s of TikTok, where people were confusing spirituality and appropriating cultures and calling it witchcraft. I would love to say that the things that I experienced and also the things that I didn't actually do. And I didn't actually experience anything. I would love to say that I was just a hippy-dippy pagan. Or that I was just... I don't know. But no, I was genuinely practicing witchcraft, stuff that I can't even, if I wanted to mention, I probably couldn't mention on here because of the filtering system. And in Islam, there is no good or bad magic. It is all bad magic. So of course, being a Muslim now, I'm not going to describe what I did. I'm not going to talk about spells that I did. I'm not going to talk or educate anyone about what I believed in or what I practiced, because I don't need to lead anyone astray. I also don't need some younger person to be influenced by my video in the wrong way and decide to try and do something that I did with years of experience and hurt themselves or someone else. So yes, I was a witch and I converted to Islam, and I don't talk about being a witch on here because I don't want to lead anyone astray and I don't want anyone getting hurt because of me.
Let me tell you how witchcraft almost ruined my life. And a lot of y'all may not have an understanding, but that's okay. We don't judge over here. We all come over here to hear and possibly relate, because there's a lot of people who go through witchcraft but don't have nobody to talk to without being called crazy. But you're not crazy. Now, when I was going through a lot of witchcraft, spell work or whatever, I did not have an understanding on what it was. I just thought God didn't love me, He hated me, and my life was over, okay? But when I did figure out what was going on with me, it came to me in a dream. But let me learn you something. I was being affected in every area of my life. When I tell you, I could not sleep. I could not eat. I had bags under my eyes. Baby, I went from 225 to 150, and I got pictures to prove it. I was not eating at all, friend, but when I did, I would throw it up. My stomach was hurting so bad, like I felt like something was just caving in. I went to the doctor so many times, and they always would tell me, you're healthy, there's nothing wrong with you. It was so bad to the point where they almost sent me to a mental hospital, right? Because they felt like I was going crazy, or I just wanted something to be wrong with me. They thought I was abusing drugs, because I was always going in and getting prescriptions, but I wasn't taking the prescriptions. They would just prescribe it, but they felt like I would make up things that was going on with me to get the prescription. So they thought I was on drugs. Baby, people thought I was weird. I started losing friends. I stopped hanging around family. Baby, relationship was just horrible. Every relationship I came across, it failed. When I say I was losing money, I lost my car, I lost my job, I lost everything around me. Baby, it was so bad, you wouldn't even believe it. Like I wasn't even thinking, nothing was going through my mind. Like straight crickets, it was silence, friend. I would sit in the living room and I would just look like my son would be calling my name and I wouldn't hear him until I randomly snap out of it. And that's when I knew I really needed a God, when I couldn't engage with my child anymore. That's when it became serious to me. I just started crying. I couldn't feel nothing. I couldn't connect to nothing. I felt hopeless. I felt empty. Baby, when I say I had no feelings, no emotions, no nothing, it was horrible. But that's when I didn't have no connection with God. I didn't have no bond, no relationship, no nothing. I didn't take it serious. I was out there smoking, drinking, partying, clubbing, doing whatever I wanted to do. I never prayed. I never opened up my Bible. I was just out there freely. You know what I'm saying? To be honest, I didn't even really put no thought or even belief in witchcraft until I was made into a believer. Fast forward. Now I'm healthy. I'm happy. I'm thriving. I got my mind together. I understand who God is. I know my word. I know prayer. You feel me? And it took years, baby. I've been in the game for 10 years on my journey. And I learned a whole lot. So that's why when I get up on here and I tell y'all what to do and not to do, friend, I mean it because I know. I've been through it. I've seen it. I've done it. Don't be out here just roaming freely. Get you some protection. All right? Baby, when I started to call out for God, and I started breaking down and praying and going to church, God came in quick and delivered me from all evil. When I say all hell broke loose over my enemies, I started to see exactly who was doing it on me, because the chains were breaking and God was bringing forth my enemies. He was exposing the hands of my enemies, baby. Why? Because I started to believe in him and call out and put my trust and faith in him. And ever since that day he delivered me, I have not missed the beat of giving him his praise and glory, because he deserved it. Because he could have let me die. He could have let me drown. He could have let me go. But he seen me. He heard my cry and delivered me, friend. That's why when I say never fight fire with fire, go to God about it, I mean that, friend. Do it. Call out for him. Don't listen to no people on this app or around you about fighting fire with fire. They're going to put you under fire. Eternal fire. Damnation. Don't do it.
So I want to tell y'all a story time. Like, I was hesitant about sharing this story. I just want to use this as an example of how I know witchcraft is a real thing and it works. I have repented and all that. I do believe I received big time karma because of it. So I would not advise anybody to try this at all. Okay. But back in like 2007, 2008, I was beefing real heavy with my baby dad. I hated this man, okay? I hated this man. So I went to the extremes. I went online and started looking up stuff. I don't know what gave me the idea. I can't remember at the time, like, what gave me the idea, but I went online and I went on this website that was selling voodoo dolls. I mean, this was like a real big, like, legit website. There was like this voodoo doll kit, okay? I mean, it came with the candles, the dolls, directions. There was like a couple other things. It was only like it might have been like $30 to $40. So it came in the mail. I let it sit for a while. I let it sit for a couple days, 'cause I was scared, for real. I was scared. So I finally did it. I'm like, bump it. I'm doing it. It told me the directions. If I can remember correctly, it was like the directions was get a picture of the person. It had me like say a couple things and light a couple candles and stuff like that, and to put it in an enclosed like box and put it away. I did it. I did everything it told me to do. I put it in a baby wipe container. I do remember I put it in a baby wipe container box and put it in my closet. I don't know what to this day, I don't know what happened to that box. Anyway, sure enough, it worked, y'all. Why this man end up getting sick as hell? I'm talking about hell. We were in our 20s, okay? He was probably almost like 30. Like 28, 29 at the time. Why did he get shingles so bad? I mean, it was bad, y'all. So bad. So bad. He got it like, I'm going to say like 4 or 5 days after I did this, okay? And if you know anything about shingles, that's typically like an old person's disease. It's, you know, it's like chickenpox for old people. There's really no reason why him, you know, a healthy, athletic man in his late 20s should have got it, okay? So this is how I know it worked. But this is how crazy I was, though. So when he got sick with the shingles, like, I tried to act all caring and concerning, and I went over there to nurse his ass and to his house to nurse him and all. Yeah, it was crazy. It was wild. I couldn't believe it happened. I was so scared. I don't know what I did with that box, though. Like, I don't think I threw it out. I don't recall ever throwing it out. I know I left it in the closet for a while and I just forgot about it. I don't know what happened to it after that. I didn't know how you were supposed to get rid of it after you did what you did. That I can remember. It was so long ago, but yeah. I would not recommend ladies don't do it. Ladies, men don't do it. It's not worth the consequence because there is bad karma that comes along with it. And yeah, it was pretty bad for me, I think. A lot of struggles and shit that I dealt with after that was because of what I did. That's crazy, but...
Story time. So, when I was, into a dark season of my life, I dibbled and dabbled into witchcraft very, very heavily. Very heavily so, to where I was, doing candle magic, doing light spell work, crystal work, all kind of stuff, chakra work, tarot cards. I did it all. It was for a season. Thank God I was delivered from that. But during that season, I'm telling this story because it all comes back to play today. Okay. So during that season, I completely turned away from God, or I don't think I completely did, but I just started doing other options to fix me instead of waiting on him. So I came in contact with a white witch, still a witch, but a white witch. They're supposed to be good witches in the spiritual realm, or so we thought. So I'm just going to show you how the Holy Spirit was on my life and how God's favor just never went away. Anyway, so I paid for a reading from this lady. I won't say her name or who she was, but I found her on Instagram many, many moons ago. And shame me because I think during that time I turned a few people on to get readings from different people that I saw on Instagram. But thank God again for deliverance from that life. Whew. And thank God for his mercy. Anyway, so back to the story. So I paid for a reading from this white witch. And in the reading, some stuff was accurate, some stuff wasn't, some stuff didn't come to pass yet. So I remember specifically she told me she's like, you need to get some, she's like, you got a lot of blocked chakras that you need to unlock. You need to be free from, you need to let those chakras or those certain energies in your body be free because they're blocking you from certain things in your life. Being green, I was like, she's right. Maybe she's right. Maybe she's right in what she's saying because I wanted what she was saying to come to pass so bad. So I was willing to do anything to have my way in what I wanted in this season of my life. So I agreed to doing it and I paid her, right? She's like, so yeah, we'll start this process and I'll work with you to help you unlock your chakras and do all this stuff that's blocked and you're going to be good to go after that. I said, okay. So I paid her, again, witchcraft. And here I go on a altar that wasn't of God. So I remember one of the days I was laying down and she was like, we're going to go through a
Like, I'm going to go through a mindful meditation, and I want you to do everything that I tell you to do. She's like, so relax your body, you know, giving me all these things. I'm not going to go into detail because I don't want this to go further than what it needs to do for anybody. So anyways, she had me do all these things, go into a mindful meditation, say these different things, you know, just nothing that was of God. It was more so for self. Okay. It was self-help all the way around. Do this, do that, say this about yourself, say that, think about yourself in this kind of way, think about these kind of colors, they'll do certain things. And I just remember laying there with my eyes closed, and I'm like, I don't know if it's just me, but this is not working. It's not working. It's not working. I didn't feel any different when I was doing it than when I started doing it. Nothing changed from that moment at all. And it was so funny because while this was going on, I remember hearing her baby crying in the background. She was like, we'll have to cut this short. I'll have to call you tomorrow because, you know, I got to take care of my baby and all this stuff. So it was always an interruption, which was good. Like, before then, I was irritated because I'm like, I paid you for service that I'm not even getting full service for. But in clear hindsight, I see that. I see you, God. I see you. I see you. But yeah, so each time I was supposed to talk to her, there was like something going on. And then I think something tragic happened after that day to where we had to stop the services completely. And I just think that was my angels. That was my God. He was fighting for me, you know, before I could even see it, before I got too deep in it. But yeah, so it had to stop. So just seeing how everything came full circle, like, oh my gosh, what a God we serve, right? Like, I just, this show, the love. When he calls you, he calls you. So yeah, I think that was the last time that I dug deep into that kind of world, because I thought after that, I was like, this is fake. I don't believe anything these people say anymore. Like, they're full of it. They're full of it. You know, I may have got a couple more readings after that from different people, but then the stories or the readings kept getting like, sketchy. And then at a certain point in time, I was like, you know, this just sounds too fake. Like, I don't know. I'm not doing this no more. And then when every person after that, they want you to, well, I can help you do this. You just got to pay me here, you know, paying for seeds, sowing seeds, so these things could come to life in your life. Divination. Before I knew it was divination. But I just really want to thank God because his protection over me, like the light over me, like he never allowed me to go too far and dig deep into that world. I was never consumed by it. Like, thank God. Like, thank you, God. Thank you. So I don't know who needs to hear this, but I just wanted to share that because when God calls you, he calls you. His hand is on you, and he ain't gonna let up. Nothing came to pass of what happened in that world. There were some things that I did question myself about because I shouldn't have dibble-dabbled in that world to begin with, and it caused certain fractions of my life later on, because when them spirits come to collect, they will come and collect, right? And we forget all about it, but there was a point in time in my life after that where certain things happened, and I was like, you know, now that I'm thinking back on it and as I'm reading the Bible, certain curses come with certain consequences, or certain things you do come with certain consequences, and those things did come to life, whether I believed it or not, because of what I practice. So just be careful what you start digging into. Again, if it goes against God, if it goes against his word, it is not him, it's not from him. A white witch, a black witch, a brown witch, they're all witches. They're not from God. I don't care how good of work they may be doing or they think they're doing. It's still witchcraft. It's demonic. Okay? I just thought I would share that in case anybody's thinking about dipping in to that lifestyle. New age is what they call it. Just rebuke it. Get away from it. Don't even entertain 1 ounce of it. And that's my little word for today.
Okay, so now that you watched that, let's have the conversation, okay? No hate or shade towards any of the content creators. We are simply just using what they put out there publicly to have a conversation about it. Their experience with dibbling and dabbling into witchcraft, we're just simply using that to have a conversation. So no hate or shade towards them. I'm always thankful for the content creators for putting that out there publicly so we can learn and grow from it. No hate or shade towards anybody who practices any type of religion or spiritual practices. Again, we're just simply here to have the conversation, okay? So no hate shade towards anybody. Like I said, this video wasn't more so entertainment purposes like the other videos. This video was definitely more education based. So if you're still around, let's have the conversation. So first thing first, this conversation might make some people uncomfortable, and I apologize in advance for it, but I just feel like we need to have the conversation and put it out there, okay? So first thing, we talk a lot on my channel. If you've been following me for a while, we talk a lot about high vibrational people, low vibrational people, low frequency, high frequency, okay? So if you don't know what that is, just real quickly, low vibrational individuals are low vibrational. It's going to be things of opposite of high frequency, okay? So you're going to talk about things like depression, people who can't seem to be happy, people who, like, have you ever spoke to somebody and their energy is always low? Like they're always going through something. Like, dang, you're draining my energy. Like they're always going through something. They still have trauma that they have not resolved. They're constantly repeating the same cycles in life, repeating the same relationships in life. They seem to always have something else going wrong, because once you're in the low frequency, you attract other low frequency things. Okay. So bad relationships, money problems, mental health issues, insecurities. Like it's just everything negative that most people would associate as negative. That's low frequency. That's low vibrational. Okay. Those people tend to never be happy too long. It's always something going on in their life. Okay. They can't seem to break free out of it. So those are people who operate in the low frequency, low vibrational. High frequency, high vibrational is going to be the opposite of that. People who are happy, people who seem to always have blessings come in their life, people who work through a lot of trauma. A lot of times those people have done the inner work to break free to be happy. So those are like, have you ever been around somebody and like, you're like, damn, like their spirit is just so happy. Like a lot of children, their spirit is happy. They're high vibrational, they're high frequency individuals. They're happy, they're blessed. They always have blessings going on in their life. You hear people be like, dang, look at God's favor. You know what I mean? So these are two different individuals walking around: low vibrational, high vibrational, low frequency, high frequency. Okay. So with that being said, one of the most low frequency things, feelings anyway, that you can have is fear. Okay. Now we're human. Okay. So we're naturally going to fear certain things naturally. Okay. But when you operate in fear, in the frequency of fear, then you will experience a lot of things that will cause fear. Okay. Let's look at some movies and let's look at how there are certain gems that is put out there. See, they put a lot of messages out there in movies and children cartoons and all of that. They put these gems and jewels out there. Okay. You just have to really be aware to see kind of what's going on. Okay. So for example, the movie It. Have y'all seen the movie It? Do you remember, and I'm not talking about the original, like old movie It, but I'm talking about like the newer version It, where they have the first chapter and the second chapter when they're adults. So if you remember, at the very end of the first It, they were talking about how, like, the one with the red hair, the female, she was talking about how she's not afraid of him, right? And then how the other kids start to say, we're not afraid of you. And they start standing up to It, the clown, and they're beating him with all kind of stuff, right? He starts shrinking. He was huge. And he starts shrinking and shrinking and shrinking and shrinking. They eventually defeated him because they decided not to fear him. But when they did fear him, it was big. Remember that? And every time he was getting fed off of their fear. So if they was afraid of something, he would use their fear. So there's the little boy on there who was afraid of germs, and he created like an illusion of germs all around him, and he was terrified. Okay. But when they realized what was going on, and they're like, if we don't fear him, we can beat him. And that's when they really beat him. That's the same thing when it comes to entities. And let me just put this out there. I used to be heavy into religion, okay? And when I did follow religion, I was taught to fear, certain things, and that's when I would get spiritually attacked the most. But that's with anything, okay? I feel like that's with any spiritual practice or anything. I feel like the more you fear things, the more power and energy you give them. So even like with, Freddy Krueger and just all these little gems they put out there. They're putting out there like the more that you fear something, the more that you feed things. And that's low vibrational. It's when you fear things. Okay. So with that being said, with the first story, right, she was talking about how like she started to get spiritually attacked when it comes to dabbling into witchcraft and just stuff like of that nature. She started getting attacked. Okay. She started seeing spirits. She started witnessing spirits, like, you know, getting spiritually attacked. I need people to realize and understand this is nothing to play with. Okay, this is nothing to play with. And if you think spirits, demons, whatever you want to call them, is stupid and slow, you're thinking wrong. Okay, if you think that they don't know that you don't know what you're doing and you just dabbling in this for play, you're sadly mistaken. You are sadly mistaken. Okay, I remember this video of Conjure Queen. I think her name is Conjure Queen on YouTube, how she was talking about how people have been dabbling into tarot and just a lot of spiritual practices that they have no business dabbling into. And then those spirits start attacking them after that, right? 100% true. 100% true. My whole message of this video is stop getting into stuff that you have no business getting into. There are so many people out there, especially if you go on TikTok, you follow some of these groups and stuff on Facebook. So many people who are so like, what's the word I'm looking for? Have this illusion of what they think witchcraft is and how they watch movies with magic and all this kind of stuff. And they think that's going to be their reality when they have no business dabbling into this kind of stuff. People who have really been initiated into like hoodoo, voodoo, etc., right? A lot of times that is in their blood, that is in their roots, and they were taught by like their grandma, by their mother, by their great auntie, big mama. They were taught this in person because this is part of their tradition, part of their bloodline, part of their culture. Okay, so when you dabbling into stuff that you have no business dabbling into, then yes, stuff like that happens because that's not what you're supposed to be into. That's not what you're supposed to be dabbling into. Okay. Religion is belief systems. Okay. It's all belief systems. It's all about what you align with, what you feel works for you. Okay. There are people who swear by Christianity and swear that's the best thing that ever happened to them. Stick with that. There are people who swear by Muslim. And you see the girl who was Muslim on here. I put her on here for a reason. Because like I tell y'all on my channel, be open-minded, okay? Swear by Muslim. She was into witchcraft and then she turned Muslim. Now her life is better, right? Is that one religion that she went to? No, she went to Muslim, okay? There are people who swear by Hinduism, practicing Hinduism to change their life, okay? It's whatever works for you, whatever belief system works for you at the end of the day. That's what I try to tell people, because a lot of people fight and go back and forth and all of that. It's whatever works for you, okay? So with that being said, if you are aligned with Christianity, for example, just like a lot of the stories in this compilation, you ain't got no, if you was raised in that and that's what you aligned with, and then you stepped away from Jesus to go ahead and dibble and dabble into witchcraft and play with tarot readers and all this kind of stuff, then yes, you will get attacked by demons. Why? Because these demons are what you have fear of because your religion told you not to mess with this. So guess what your reality is going to be? Them demons messing with you because you wasn't supposed to mess with this. So it spooks you back into what you align with, which is Christianity. Okay, so I hope that makes sense to people. Stop messing with stuff that you ain't got no business messing with. Okay, whereas other people who practice, like I said, the real deal people who been practicing, who's in Haiti and New Orleans and overseas and other places who've been practicing these traditions because they was brought through it culturally to practice these traditions, they don't have that kind of stuff. A lot of them don't have those kind of realities of like, oh my gosh, I'm getting spooked out by demons every night and I'm doing this, I'm doing that. Why? Because that's not their reality. Their culture, their belief system, their alignment was with what they practice. That's who that is for. Okay? So stop messing with stuff that you ain't got no business messing with, especially if you're not fully and wholeheartedly into it. Why the heck would you, being raised and grown in Christian, go to a tarot reader when you're taught not to go to a tarot reader? Okay? Let me just put this out there. The spirituality world is no different than any other religious world when it comes to frauds being in the industry. Okay? So yes, you will run across tarot readers who are only in it for the money, who are just trying it because it seems fun, and we're on Witch Talk and this is fun. Let's dibble and dabble into it. So you will have people who's not really supposed to be doing that, who will do it and dabble in it to get some money. And then next thing you know, you're like, I don't feel right, or this person ain't telling me what I need to know. Da da da. Yeah, because they not even doing what they're supposed to be doing. They're just doing it because it sounds like it's cool, or it's popular now. Like, no, you need to use your discernment and go, if you are going to do that, and go to somebody who was called to do it, somebody who's been doing it for years and who was spiritually called to do it. Tarot readers is for the spirituality world. Okay, a lot of people don't know, but tarot reading, the cards that first came out originally with tarot reading, it wasn't even for tarot reading. It actually had nothing to do with spirituality. It was actually for game playing, just playing cards and playing. It had nothing to do with spirituality. It wasn't until like later on down the road when a person came out and started using it for tarot reading, and then other people start using it for tarot reading. It had symbolism, and of course spirits are going to get their message across any way they can. So once your energy goes into it of like, this is for spiritual purposes, then of course certain energies or entities might attach to it. And then that's when people start using it for like messages. Okay. So a lot of people don't know what they're doing. They go online, they see people doing tarot, like, oh, I want to do this. It seems cool. Have no business doing it, and then get spooked out of it because they had no business messing with it. That is spirits. That is energy. Okay. You are messing with people's energy. And this is coming from like a tarot reader those who've been following me a long time, y'all probably know that already. I used to do tarot reading heavily. Okay. I used to do it every day. The only reason I stopped doing it is because I'm trying to focus more on YouTube and do other stuff. But people, my past clients, they'll hit me up every once in a while, ask me to do a reading, and I'll still do it. So this is coming from somebody who have done the practice, okay, who knows the practice. And I can tell you that when you are doing tarot reading, you are in a spiritual world. You are in a spiritual state. Once you start them cards and reading, you are in a certain spiritual space, okay? I'm an intuitive reader. So that is what you currently are reading. It's nothing to play with. Okay, yeah, you might see spirits. Yeah, you might get entangled in that world because that's what you have dabbled into. Only people who know what they doing or was called to do it is supposed to be doing that, not people playing around thinking it's something to play with. So I just want to put that out there because it's just, people are getting themselves in like spiritual drama, like in a spiritual bad situation for no reason. You have no business doing it. It's plain and simple. Okay. Stick to what you know. Stick to what you was raised in. If that is what you truly align with and where your heart is, that's what you need to stick with. Stop playing with stuff because a lot of people take this serious. Again, people were born into this, brought into this, and they take their practice very serious. Okay. It's very, what's the word I'm looking for? Sacred for a lot of people. And the people who go around playing in it, that's just like a hit in their face when it's very sacred to a lot of people. Okay, so stop dibbling and dabbling into stuff you have no business dibbling and dabbling to. And then guess what? You wouldn't have stories of, oh, I tried this and I got into this and then I was spooked out and demons did this and spirits did this. Da, da, da. Stop playing with stuff you ain't got no business playing with. Because again, people who really were called to do it, they don't have those experiences because they were called to do it. That's their alignment. That's their spiritual practice. So they don't get spooked out and scared by no, because they were meant for this work. They know what they're doing. There's a lot of people who do, and I have them in my comments, some of the past videos, people who are hoodoo priests, voodoo priests, all of them, they do good work for people. They heal people. This is real work. So stop playing. Y'all be playing. It's nothing to play with. So that's all I have to say. Y'all let me know what y'all think. Like, comment, subscribe. I will see you on the next one.